What's up, everybody? It's Devontae. I'm back with another video. Welcome back to all my subscribers. If you're new, I hope that you do subscribe. And this channel is all about me documenting my progress to becoming a dentist and sharing any pieces of advice and value that I get along the way. When you clicked on this video, obviously you already read the title. Something that I know that everybody struggles with, and for those who claim that they don't, I think you're lying. At some point in time, it is hard for us to say no, and this is what I've been picking up on or learning, how hard it is to say no to people. I hope you take something away from this. So before we get started, I want to leave you with a question. If and when we run out of time and you reflect on the time that you've given others, who's to blame? Is it you or is it everybody else? And just a tidbit of advice, if you are saying yes to everything, and if it's hard for you to say no, it does not make you nice, it doesn't make you respectful, it makes you come across as meek, and it will eventually make you resentful. You will eventually be forced to be confrontational. So I know that this idea of you wanting to please others, or you wanting to always do things that people are offering you that you like to do, why should I say no? Well, you're eventually going to be placed in a situation where you're going to have to either be confrontational or disagreeable. If you don't believe me, continue to say yes to things that you know don't really serve you. If it's hard to say no, I would suggest that you rehearse it and practice it. Practice saying no to things, even things that don't require a yes or no question. Just say no, just to see what people's reactions are. Just practice how it feels to not please someone. To me, this will serve you later in life when you're a parent and you have to be confrontational about certain things. Or if you're having to negotiate something like your salary, job offer, something that requires you to have some level of disagreeableness. I have a story from when I worked one of my first jobs at Publix. I ended up going overnight from a day bagger to an overnight stalker. And I made like, I don't know, maybe $1 more, $2 more. And a month or so in, the new store manager that we had, he started nagging me about cutting my hair. And you can tell my hair is long. Hey, policy has it to where you can't have it on your collar. I'm like, okay, fine, I can deal with that. A month or so goes by and he pulls me in the office. It's no longer that the policy isn't that I can't have it on my collar, which I fixed. I braided it in a way that it never touched my collar. Basically giving me an ultimatum without giving me an ultimatum that I'm going to have to cut my hair. What do you do in a situation like this? You get fired or you cut your hair? Well, my hair was something I was going to cut for a job like, I'm just being honest, Publix. So I looked him in his face, I shook his hand, which some people might not agree with, and I said, okay, I respect it. He said, you'll have it cut? I said, I'll get it done. I never showed up again to that job. Now, is that necessarily me being confrontational? No, I wouldn't say so, but what it is me respecting myself over anybody else, respecting my time and things that I value. So in a way, it was a no. It was my first time saying no, to be honest, because respect lasts longer than adoration. One thing I've learned is people can like you today and not tomorrow. But once you earn somebody's respect, it's not as easy to disrespect someone than it is to dislike someone. When you want someone to like you, it's a lot of brown nosing, ass kissing that you gotta do that I don't think is worth it. Having someone's respect lasts longer. Respect helps you stay at peace in a world where someone can stop liking you at the drop of a pen. If people respect you, they're not going to cross your boundaries. If people like you, that doesn't mean they won't step on your toes every now and then. And in all honesty, it's harder, in my opinion, to demand respect after you've let people disengage you of your no. After you've let people disrespect you and cross your boundaries, it's harder to ask for respect afterwards. So that's why I think you should say no early on and establish that no, establish your boundaries early on. You want to have a goal and a strategy. Have a clear goal as to why you want to be selfish, as to why you want to say no. Quote that comes from, there's two quotes actually. One is from one of my favorite YouTubers. I'm not sure if he made it, but he says it a lot. And it's from Anton Daniels. He says, you have to be selfish to be selfless. And another one is a quote by Tim Grover. He's a performance coach and the author of the book Winning that I've talked about it previously in one of my videos. And it's something that I'm still currently reading because I'm a slow reader. This is what he has to say about separation. It's about putting new demands on yourself and shutting out the noise that wants to prevent you from acting on them. This demand that you place on yourself is going to give you the reason to say no. Once you know your goal, you know your why, it It's easier to know when you're deviating from it. Know what you don't want. You have to be afraid of that thing. Be more afraid of that thing than you want to please someone. It requires no interpretation, no discussion, no negotiation really, unless you want. You can do it one time. Have a list of non-negotiables. These are things that you don't waver on for no reason, for no one, for nobody, obviously within reason. The book Winning by Tim Grover talks about this muscle that we all have that it's hard for a lot of people to use because they don't use it often. It's like any other muscle. When you don't train it, it's weak. It's called the I don't give a fuck muscle. The I don't give a fuck muscle is the I'm gonna say no because this isn't within my plans, regardless of what the offer is, regardless of who's this gonna piss off. I don't give a fuck muscle. The goal is to prioritize things that are most important, even in the face of adversity, even in the face of temptation, even in the face of not pleasing somebody. The more you flex it, the easier it becomes to flex this muscle. For those that don't know, saying yes too many times can breed resentment. Yes, if you end up somewhere that is the result of doing things for other people, or you're disadvantaged in something that you do want to accomplish, you end up resenting that person as if it's their fault because you felt inclined to do what they asked you to do or what they wanted you to do, or what maybe you wanted to do but you couldn't say no. So over time that will breed resentment. For instance, I've had situations where I've helped people and again and again and again and again and again, and it disadvantaged me in a way, so much so that now our relationship is a lot different, all because I couldn't say no to them, or I didn't know how to. Setting that boundary of no and not letting people cross it once you've designated it, no matter how they feel, they will respect you. They might not like you as much, they might not like the fact that you said no, but like I said, respect lasts longer and it goes longer. Because if you don't say no, eventually, somewhere down the line, your parents, your girl, your brother, your sister, whomever, you're gonna resent them and it won't be anybody else's fault but yours. So not being honest makes us unhappy with ourselves and with others. If you are truly an empathetic person, saying no ensures that you will continue to be an empathetic person. Your energy and your mental space and your everything, you have to conserve that. And last but not least, take care of yourself. Part of taking care of yourself is being disagreeable. Part of taking care of yourself is saying no. Treat yourself as if you're someone that you're responsible for. It's something that Jordan Peterson says in his book, 12 Rules for Life. Your own little brother. Treat yourself like you're your own child. You're your own elderly person. You are responsible for you. So at the end of the day, if it's hard for you to say no, think about how you're disadvantaging the peace within yourself to keep the peace with everybody else. So say no, take care of yourself. If you take away nothing else from this video, I want you to take away this. If being successful meant saying no today, many of us would still be where we are tomorrow. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. If you've made it this far, comment, say no. And then share a story about maybe a time that you said no that it was kind of hard for you. And stay tuned next week for another video. I love you. Take care of yourselves.